आज विवेक बाणी पाठ करेंगे।
समस्त को नमस्कार। आज विवेक बाणी जदि आमर प्रत्येकटी प्रयास व्यर्थतार पर्यवेसित हुए एवं आमे मर्माहत और विपर्यस्त हेउ तथापि सकल विपर्य मध्यरे आमर हृदय वृद्धि को सतेज रखा पड़िबो। एही समस्त विघ्न विपर्य मध्यरे आमर अभ्यंतरीण देवदत्त को दृढ़ चित्तर प्रकाश करने को पड़िबो। प्रकृति चाहे आमे प्रतिक्रियाशील हेउ, आघात विनिमय रे आघात करू, प्रतारणा विनिमय रे प्रतारणा करू, मिथ्यार विनिमय रे मिथ्यार आश्रय नेउ, आमर सर्वशक्ति प्रयोग करी आघातर समुचित उत्तर देउ। ताहा हेले देखा जाउची आघातर बदल रे प्रत्याघात न करिवा पई, निजको संयत करिवा पई, सर्वोपरि अनासक्त हेबा पई गोटिए विराट दिव्य शक्तिर प्रयोजन। स्वामी विवेकानंद। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद सुमित। मु वर्तमान आज जो विषय वस्तु यह एक गुरुत्वपूर्ण और समय सापेक्ष वर्तमान विश्व रे विभिन्न जगार बहुत प्रकार युद्ध होउची। देश देश मध्य संपर्क कोठी भल तो अधिकांश जगार मध्य खराब अछि। समय रे आदिर जो आलोचना चक्र जो शीर्षक अछि ताहा भारत एवं जापान मध्य अछि, जहा एक बहुत ऐतिहासिक संपर्क, जहा सकारात्मक संपर्क केबे भी नकारात्मक संपर्क थिबार अनुभव करिनु। ता से विषय रे तो सार तार आर्थिक सामाजिक ऐतिहासिक सबु दिग विषय रे सार पूरा पारंगम, कारण सार से विषय रे बहुत किछि गवेषणा करिसेंती। सारंकर सेही ऊपर मध्य सार पिलांको अध्यापना करूछंती। सारंक विषय मु वर्तमान सम्यक सूचना देबी। सारंक सार डॉक्टर देवेंद्र साहू, he is an associate professor of Japanese studies and associate dean and deputy director of online programs at Jindal School of International Affairs, JSIA, OP Jindal Global University. Dr. Sahu holds a PhD in Japanese studies from Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi. Dr. Sahu was a recipient of prestigious Monbuka Gakuso Fellowship and pursued research at University of Tokyo for 2 years. Dr. Sahu has interviewed various high-profile dignitaries, including Dr. Shinzo Abe. Everybody knows him, former Prime Minister of Japan. He has selected from India in the prestigious program for human resource development in Asia for peace building commissioned by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Japan. Dr. Sahu contributed the Japan South Asia and Japan Korean Peninsula segment of an illustrious database, The World and Japan, funded by grants in aid from the Ministry of Education Japan and Japan Society for Promotion of Science. Dr. Sahu's research interests span the field of Japanese studies, Indian politics, international political economy, and Indo-Pacific. जहाँ आम सार विषय जानिले, सारंकर बहुत गभीर अभिज्ञता एवं ज्ञान जापान एवं भारत मध्य थिबा द्विपाक्षिक संपर्क विषय रे मु अधिका समय न नै सार को अनुरोध करी। सार आमको आज दिग्दर्शन देवे भारत एवं जापान मध्य जो शीर्षक अच्छी ता विषय अनुरोध करी। डॉक्टर साहू सार को। साहू सर प्लीज।
Thank you, Chinmayaranjan and Dr. Devendra Sahu. So there was some network problem. So that for that I do not have the audio. So the coordinator of this program, Dr. Chinmayaranjan Kumar, he has done his PhD in rural development from Ravenshaw University, Cuttack, and he has 10 years of teaching experience and been the principal investigator and co-investigator. He has guided research projects. He was senior research fellow at UGC NET program. He has done his 10th from JNV Sarang and BSc from Ravensa University, MSc from Ravensa University, and a PhD from Ravensa University. And he has also cleared the UGC NET and JRF. He has been awarded as a distinguished, he has been selected as distinguished speaker in the World Congress on Advances in Plant Science and Plant Biology in the year 2025, held at Amsterdam, Netherlands in the month of March, April. And his research supervisor was our organizing secretary. He is the life member of Dr. Chinmoy, is the life member of Indian Society of Economic Development, life member of the Indian Economic Association, Odisha Economic Association, the Indian Economic Econometrics Association. So he has having research projects like socio-economic impacts of COVID-19 and policy responses, role of institutions, incentives, and information in enhancing climate resilience, agriculture intervention, and their impact across states in India. And he has teaching experience. He is now assistant professor in the Rural Management Department, Utkal University, under the faculty of MBA. And he has worked as guest faculty at Ravensa University during his PhD days. He has attended many FDP and published nearly 12 research papers in Web of Science, Scopus, and UGC Care List journals. He has edited 4 books published by the Women Press Delhi, Kunal Books New Delhi, SK Book Agency, and City Publication. He has presented nearly 28 papers in national and international conferences, and he has attended around 9 workshops. So he's also editor of the journals, and he has been associated with Prabodhan, the mouthpiece of SBLS, and he has been regularly publishing newspaper articles in Dharitri, Odisha Post, and Samaj. So I welcome Dr. Chinmoy Ranjan Kumar sir to this August meeting as the coordinator. And also Dr. Devendra Sahu is a known face in the field of international international relation and specifically Japanese studies, and Dr. Kumar has already given his brief introduction. So over to Dr. Chinmoy Ranjan Kumar for the further course of action.
Thank you, Dr. Gaurisankar Sahu sir. As I have already told, invited today's notable speaker, Dr. Devendra Sahu sir. Now the floor is open for Dr. Sahu sir. Sir, kindly deliver your speech, sir. Thank you, sir.
Can you hear me, everyone?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir. It's audible.
And screen is visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay. Namaskar samastanku. Dhanyawad Chinmoy. And it's nice to know that you are also a product of JNB. I myself passed out from JNB Bagudi, then moved to Ravensa and University of Hyderabad, JNU. Like he's already told about Shinzo Abe, and let me start from Shinzo Abe's historic Confluence of Two Seas speech that he delivered to the Indian Parliament in 2007. And I hope everyone is aware of the Confluence of Two Seas speech. And I'm just quoting Shinzo Abe, who quoted Swami Vivekananda at that point of time, is saying the different streams having their sources in different places all mingle their water in the sea. This quote perfectly encapsulates the harmony of shared values, rich cultural history between India and Japan, and it resonates with people from both the countries even today. If we talk about the shared values and rich cultural history, then Buddhism, which originated from India, that founded a lasting home in Japan. If you know the demographics of Japan, they have been a Shinto country, but from ancient Japan, when Buddhism transferred from India via China to Japan, now currently their religion demographics is like this: 48 to 49% Shintoism, then about 46 to 47% Buddhism, and the remaining 10% are among the Christianities, Islam's, Hinduism, and the non-believer. So even those 47, 48% who recognize themselves as Shinto, they also recognize themselves as Buddhist. So almost about the entire population of Japan, they associate themselves with Buddhism. So that's one of our historical shared values and rich cultural heritage that we both share. Moving on to the occupation period, we know how Japan was defeated in the Second World War, and after the war, Japan was the guilty party. That was so declared by the Tokyo Far East War Tribunal. In the War Tribunal, when there was jurisprudence happening to adjudicate on Japan's wrongdoing during the Second World War, among the judges, there was one judge of India from West Bengal, Justice Radha Vinod Pal, and he was the sole dissenting voice among all those judges in the Tokyo War Crime Tribunals. He was of the opinion that this entire process is a sham employment. He was totally criticizing the legal processes, and he was characterizing this as a satisfaction for a thirst for revenge. Like all the Allied power, they were taking revenge against Japan. He also pointed out the failure of the tribunal to provide anything other than the opportunity for the victors to retaliate. There is no opportunity for Japan to come out of the ashes. He also believed that US should also be criticized. US also should be brought to justice because of its use of atom bomb. So he was the only judge who gave a dissenting voice, and this was very special for Japan, who was almost cornered as a guilty party in the War Crime Tribunal, while all other judges said Japan is the guilty party. One judge from India who actually gave a dissenting voice. So in the modern period, that becomes one of the essence of India-Japan relationship. Moving on to the post-war Japan, in 1957, Prime Minister Nobusuke Kishi, he visited India. And when he visited India, and obviously it was a defeated nation at that point of time, like we are talking about Japan with fond, it's a very developed country, like innovative countries, technology driven, disciplined, clean, is the only Asian country among the OECD countries, only Asian country among the G8 countries and all. But at that point of time in 1957, it was a devastated country, just got defeated in the Second World War, and then also everyone was looking Japan with a imperial mindset, having that attitude of colonizing other Asian countries. But while introducing Mr. Nobusuke Kishi during his visit, Prime Minister Nehru said, "This is the Prime Minister of Japan, a country I hold in great esteem." And what Prime Minister Nehru at that point of time said is an actual reflection of ordinary Indian citizens. And that made Nobusuke Kishi feel very special. And at that point of time, they are born another leader with special love for India, sitting in the lap of his grandfather, who was Nobusuke Kishi. So Shinzo Abe is actually maternal grandson of Nobusuke. Like Nobusuke Kishi is the maternal grandfather of Shinzo Abe. So and he was hearing from his grandfather that why would a country extend the red carpet to a defeated nation in war? Every country which was not actually trying to go far away to have a very good established relationship with Japan, but India was putting a red carpet for Mr. Kishi's visit. Likewise, all countries who accepted Japanese official development assistance initially were hesitant of accepting official development assistance. Now, if you know, whomever country China is offering their development assistance in terms of loan, in terms of granting aid, every country is very worried. Whether China is actually economically colonizing them. So that was also kind of the thinking at that point of time with regard to Japan. But India wholeheartedly accepted ODA, and one of the first project of ODA project came to Kiriburu. Kiriburu is a small village mining ore in Odisha and Australia, Bihar's now Jharkhand's border. And then in the contemporary Japan, Shinzo Abe, we all know the special relationship Shinzo Abe, because he always used to say, he was very vocal about, how he learned, heard about India from his grandfather. And, I was very fortunate to meet him for about 35 minutes. 29 minutes of those meeting was about my interview. But the last 5-6 minutes, I spoke to him. He asked me some personal questions. Which part of India you belong to? And I was kind of, worried that as a prime minister, how much he knows about India. Should I say Balasore? Should I say Odisha? Should I say Khoira, my village name? What do I say? Then he obviously he knew I'm from India. So he said, which part of India you belong to? So I hesitated and I said eastern part of India, without saying Odisha, without saying West Bengal. Then he asked me further, Eastern India, which part of Eastern India? Then I said it's Odisha. Which part of Odisha? So that kind of stopped me. How come he knows Odisha? And then within Odisha, the moment I said Balasore, northern Odisha, he said, "Oh, okay. I visited Kolkata, to visit Justice Radha Vinod Bal's family, and we had a very good discussion, and those 5-6 minutes of interaction with him had an incredible impact on me about former Prime Minister's love for India and Indians as such. So having said that, these are those values, like we both are democratic country. We shared values such as freedom, values such as democracy, and we have a rich cultural heritage history, starting from Buddhism in ancient period, starting from 500 BC. So this is not about only leaders. It's also about the complementarities between Japan and India. When I say complementarities, it's like what we need they have, what they need we have, and they call it Hokansei. This Hokansei word has been very popular, and it's almost always used when we talk about India and Japan relationship. I've mentioned few, complementarities as such. One is population and demography. We all know we are in young India. Almost 65% of our population is below 35. But the contrary, Japan is an aging society. Almost about 1.4 crore population is above 75. So we population-wise, we complement each other. Moving on to economy market, Japanese economy is mature. It's almost saturated. It's declining for the last 1 or 2 decades. The market is saturated. People are almost content with what they have. Whereas we are an aspiring economy. We are aspiring, youth population. We have anything we buy from market today, tomorrow we want a better product, maybe a better productivity, maybe better in terms of technology. Engineering and technology, Japanese innovation in India's mission, or Japan is a production-based economy. We are a consumer-based economy. Whatever the engineering product that Japan produces, and they find the best market in India to sell those products. industry sector, we are a software power, but into the contrary, Japan is a hard manufacturing power, in terms of automobile, in terms of electronics, in terms of other mechanical appliances. In terms of capital, Japan is a capital rich country, whereas and they want to find some places to invest their capabilities in capital, to invest their capital. And India look for investor to invest their capital. So we give strategic opportunity to Japan to invest their capital. Labor, India is a cost-effective human resources. We have cost-effective human resources, whereas Japan, it has labor scarcity. And right now, both the countries are focusing on people-to-people exchange, so that we can actually tap these complementarities to the benefit of both of our nation. I'll not go into that much detail into the milestones, the Treaty of Peace, 1952. Soon after the San Francisco Conference, both the countries signed a Treaty of Peace, and India is one among very few countries who waived all reparation damages claim against Japan, and established its embassy in Japan very soon after the San Francisco Conference. The first yen loan, as I said, Nobusuke Kesi, after he visits, he offered, and then we received the ODA happily. Then comes a historic visit by Prime Minister Yasuhiro Nakasune's visit in 83-84, and then this starts Maruti Suzuki, which has almost become synonymous with India and Japan relationship, and that started a thriving business culture of India-Japan relationship. That was further supplemented with economic liberalizations in India in 1991, and India received credit from Government of Japan, Asian Development Bank, Bank of Japan, and Japanese business started viewing India differently. And then from there on, it started a culture of foreign direct investment in India. The only sore point I heard Professor Chinmay speaking about India-Japan relationship, and ओडिया कहले से जे कोनोसी नकारात्मक जिंस नाही मु गोटिए जिंस खाली एठी कहि रखिबी न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट एंड सैंक्शन 1998 रो ए गोटिए जिंस को आपण बात दे दियंतु आ कोनोसी नकारात्मक जिंस नाही हम रिलेशनशिप विषय केबे बी लाइक व्हाट आई से इज दैट we have never been adversary, whether it is financial, whether it is economical, whether it is social, whether it is political, whether it is ideological, we have never been adversaries. So gotiye jaha nakaratmak sthiti heitila nuclear test jetole ame 1998 re karithile, it's nothing to do with what other countries criticize us, whether it is US, whether it is Pakistan, whether it is China, whether it is all other countries, but it's something to do with Japan being the only country in the world having tested the atomic weapon. So they are not only samane khali Japan khali India nuclear test विरोध करनथले कि sanction करनथले, they actually want a nuclear free world, because they are the only people who have tested how it tastes of a nuclear bomb. So that's the only soaring point between India and Japan relationship, when they put some sanctions on India after nuclear test. Their Ambassador Hirabayashi was recalled, but then soon, within 3 years, like with Bajpayee's visit, Prime Minister Bajpayee's visit to Tokyo in December 2001, everything was settled, and that downward trajectory in the cooperation relationship was again revived. Then moves to kind of golden era in India-Japan relationship with Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's first tenure in 2006, and he was the Prime Minister who had a really good relationship with both the Prime Minister. He worked with Prime Minister Manmohan Singh in his first tenure, and Prime Minister Modi in his second and longest tenure, and they developed the partnership, which was earlier focused on economic relationship, to more of geopolitical relationship with a global and strategic partnership in 2006 with Prime Minister, and the 2007 confluence of two C's speech by indicating the shift of geopolitics from Atlantic to the Pacific, and we must be hearing about a lot of things about Indo-Pacific, and how politics has shifted from Atlantic between America and Europe to the Pacific between Asia and America. So, and then finally, the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement 2011 aimed at eliminating tariffs on Japanese exports to India and Indian exports to Japan. So almost 97% of Japan's total imports from India became tariff-free, and similarly, 90% of total trade from India to Japan were also tariff-free. We had a lot of hopes from this Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, how it will take India-Japan relationship to the next level in economic partnership. So one thing what I want to point out here, like how much we talk about geopolitics, but economics is the essence of geopolitics. So I like, international political economy, or what we can rephrase this term as geoeconomics, is now becoming more important. You think about all the war that is taking place, all those controversies, all those conflicts that is taking place, whether you talk about Trump and this tariff, everything has something to do with economic resources, whether it is oil, whether it is rare earth, whether it is semiconductor. We are almost doing politics around many resources. So it's all about economy. So India-Japan relationship is almost about that also. It's more of economic engagement, economic cooperations than actual political relationships. Obviously, after Shinzo Abe, this political relationship has evolved, but the focus have always been on economic aspects. But it's not about everything good between India and Japan relationship. It's not without its own challenges. I talked about the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement. The hope was really high from SEPA. But if you see the bilateral trade, one of the expectation from Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement was that India will, reduce the trade deficit that it has with Japan. But if you see, from 2010-11 or 11-12 till 2023-24, that the data that I have given, you will see, India's exports to Japan has almost stayed in the same level, whereas India's import from Japan has increased drastically, meaning that the SEPA has actually benefited Japan, but not to the Indian side. So the first point of signing this free trade agreement or some comprehensive economic partnership agreement is to reduce the trade deficits. But actually what it did, it actually increased the trade deficit. So this actually is in sync with one of the report from Niti Aayog, which said whichever country we are signing a free trade agreement, it's actually benefiting the other side, not to the Indian side. So with Japan, that is also the case. The trade volume has obviously increased, but it has not actually increased. It helped India in reducing the trade deficits. चिन्मय मते कहबो कि मो पाखरे टोटल केत समय अछि
सर टोटल ऊपर 45 मिनिट सर कहबे
ठीक अछि तले म आउ 15-20 मिनिट नै परिबि ना
आगे आगे सर आपण आउ 25 मिनिट
ओके ठीक अछि सो
भाई स्लाइड गुडा को एक्चुअली चालुनी पावर पॉइंट रे माने ताको मूव होनी फर्स्ट स्लाइड टू सेकंड स्लाइड को जाउनी
एबे बर्तन को स्लाइड को ये रे अछंदी
पूरा स्टार्टिंग रो ही स्लाइड ता अछि मझरे मेसेज हम शेयर करथिले मोबाइल रे आपण देखिथिबे एबे हां सर एबे मूव होला एबे स्लाइड नंबर 5 रे अछि 5 बद अछि एबे
अच्छा हां
आगे
एबे देखा होछि
एबे देखा होछि आगे
ठीक अछि मत जदी मुझे नेक्स्ट स्लाइड कहि देबी जदी मूव न करे मते थरे कहि देबे हला
आगे
ओके ठीक अछि हां तो एटा होछि बायलैटरल ट्रेड मु जेटा कहउथली 2011-12 जदी आपण देखिबे 23-24 भितरे देखंतु से जो ऑरेंज कलर जोटा इंडिया एक्सपोर्ट टू जापान इट्स ऑलमोस्ट स्टेड द सेम whereas India's import from Japan has almost increased, and simultaneously the bilateral trade volume has also increased, but the trade deficit, you see, it's going again down. So that was the only concern of India, that how to arrest this trade deficit. Now, it's not only about India-Japan and India-Japan trade. If you compare India's top trading partners, see, Japan has bottom 14. It's like, US, China, UAE, Russia, Saudi Arabia, these are all crossing Japan. So meaning the scope of India Japan trade to go to the top 5, there is huge potential. We are yet to tap those potential in terms of India and Japan trade. Likewise, Japan's top trading partner, you are seeing China, you're seeing Korea, like you're seeing Vietnam, you're seeing Thailand. All those countries did not have a very good relationship ideological. They had a problem with regard to China and Russia. They have a historical problem. But India and Japan, with all those talk of sakaratmak relationship or positive relationship, you see we are still the 16th top trading partner of Japan, meaning huge scope for both India and Japan relationship. A huge scope to advance India-Japan relationship to the next level. Next slide.
Again, sir.
So likewise, if we move to Japan's foreign direct investment to India, that also you see, we have you can see the graph. It's almost showing on a increasing from 2013 to 2023. But even there, if you see the total volume of Japan's foreign direct investment to India in the last 17 to 18 years, it is only about 32.63 billion US dollar, 32 billion, let's say 30 billion US dollar. But if you compare that with China, it's Chinese, like Japanese FDI to China is 135. And if you compare that to USA, it is 726 billion, and so 20 times more than India's FDI. So meaning, we are like too much scope there also to increase our increase bilateral foreign direct investment, Japanese FDI in India. So there also you see how FDI outflow from Japan, where is in India. India is in the 6th position. In the FDI equity inflows into India also, we are almost not there in the top. Japan is not there in almost among the top 7 countries. You see small countries like Singapore, Mauritius. Obviously, there are Mauritius and Singapore, because of their tax structure, corporate culture, corporate compliance measures. Many countries they route through Singapore and Mauritius. But even then, Japan figures only in top 5, and there are also scope to improve bilateral FDI. So while we say that we have all the positive relationship, trade FDI has still not achieved the full potential of India-Japan relationship. Now, the only thing that we have done tremendously well in terms of economic engagement is the ODA, Official Development Assistance. These are year-on-year official development assistance loan commitment to India, and almost entirety has been disbursed. There might be small here and there gaps, but jaha lekha hai 80 billion Japanese yen have almost been disbursed to Japan, disbursed to India from Japan. Now, economic engagement of tinita part, gote trade, gote FDI, gote investment, gote ODA. Trade ଆଉ investment ରେ ଆମେ ବହୁତ ଭଲ କରୁଛେ, but there is ample scope to go further. ODA, we have Japan has been the largest bilateral donor for India. India has been the largest recipient of Japanese ODA. Like till 2018, it was China, but then slowly China has been overtaken by India, and then Japan has now stopped its ODA to China, and it has been a tremendous partner for India's growth. Like in any sector, you tell a name of a sector, and Japan has a presence. Whether it is desalination, whether it is sewerage, freight corridor, urban transportation, high-speed railway, agriculture, energy, ODA has always a role to play. While transport has a lion's share of all ODA, be it metro, the industrial corridor, or the Shinkansen or bullet train project that is under construction, there are other sectors as well: technical cooperation for paddy cultivation, upgrading broadcast equipment in IGNO, education sector, rural electrification in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, the Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor, International Convention Center in Rudraksh, the Varanasi, the convention center. If we talk about Odisha, irrigation project in Upper Kolab, integrated sanitation improvement project for reliable sewerage and drainage in Bhubaneswar and Cuttack, yen loan for power transmission in Odisha to augment transmission infrastructure, forestry sector development project in Odisha to enhance forest ecosystem along with the livelihood of people. So these are, the ODA, the development assistance. Like I stay in Sonipat in the Jindal Global University, I take a look at around our university. There are Eastern and Western Peripheral Expressway. Those have been funded by Japanese official development assistance. I see the highways; those are funded by Japanese official development assistance. So almost in entire segment of India's infrastructural growth, Japan has a role to play. So among the three pillars of the economic engagement, ODA is doing really well, and we have a lot of scope in FDI, whereas trade, it is increasing, but we still have a lot more to catch if we need to match Japan-US or Japan-China relationship, economic relationship. Another challenge is that everyone talks of, and then if you have followed the newspaper with the recent visit of Prime Minister Modi to Tokyo, Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Ishiba of Japan, they discussed one thing about people to people exchanges. So this is a slide that I saw about Indian diaspora. Chinmay, dekhi parche ki? Indian diaspora. So Indian diaspora. So this is a comparison that I have given about Indian diaspora's top destination countries versus Japan. You see, Indian diaspora, the number of Indian people, Indian origin people living abroad, and the many small countries like UAE, Malaysia, Myanmar, then Sri Lanka, then Kuwait, and you see Japan. Like 46,000. That's the size of Indian diaspora, and USA, it's like almost 54 lakhs. And small countries like UAE 35 lakhs, Malaysia 29 lakhs. So Japanese is only 46,000. So what we say, the problem statement here is that the size of Indian diaspora in Japan is not commensurating with strong India-Japan ties. And I need not tell you about the benefits of Indian diaspora, geopolitically or geo-economically. Why this, our strong economic and strategic ties, the shared values that we talk, the mutual admiration of leadership that we talk, the historical linkages that we talk, why our people-to-people exchange has not been that great, with only meager 46,000 Indians staying in Japan. Why we have not been able to, or Japan has not been able to leverage its strong bilateral ties to increase Indian population in Japan? So that's a critical question. The second question is, if you see this data clearly, if you compare the NRI versus PIO, if you follow the diaspora population, there are two different kind of population. So those who are person of Indian origin who have settled there, long-term settlement, and then there are NRIs. When I went there for 2 years, I was counted as NRI, but not as a PIO. So when you compare this, the number of PIOs have far outnumbered the NRIs in all these countries, meaning long-term settlement is more. Like number of a person of Indian origins far outnumbers the non-resident Indians in all those countries except these three countries: UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. Meaning long-term settlement is more in all other countries. Only in UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, the long-term settlement is not that great. Why? We know Middle East predominantly attracts short-term contract workers in industries like construction, services, oil, and healthcare, and they have a very strict immigration policy by which Gulf countries do not offer permanent residency. But who are the other country other than these three? Japan. Japan also, do not have a very good base of person of Indian origins. It has NRIs who have far outnumbered the PIOs. So what this signifies is that long-term settlement is not possible in Japan. Long-term settlement, like possible is a harsh word, possible is a strong word, but long-term settlement is not happening in Japan. Then the level of integration into the society, that is also not happening. Generational shift. Anyone who is going USA, they stay there, their children, they study in same school, they study in USA universities. It's kind of generational shift, like established across generation. But in terms of Japan, that is not happening. So that has been that has been a problem. Then if you see, if you compare Indian diaspora in Japan versus other countries, you see, see the Nepalese diaspora, country, like in comparison to our population is nothing. They have a diaspora which is almost twice. And as far as this is, I think this is 2023 data. As far as I heard from my Nepalese friend, that this has almost doubled, whereas Indian diaspora size is still 50,000, but Nepalese diaspora has almost about 2 lakhs, so meaning 4 times the Indian diaspora size. Sri Lanka is almost same. Pakistan has almost increased to the same level of India, but you see Nepal is 4 times, Bangladesh almost same, but see the small countries like Philippines, Vietnam, Korea, and of course China, we are no match. So this is happening. One of the reasons why this problem with regard to diaspora is happening is about the student mobility. Most of our people go to United States. It's almost one-way stampede. 3-4 lakhs Indian students go there, and almost they settle down there. So that settlement, add on to each year settlement to have a long-term settlement, and the big diaspora, they contribute to the big diaspora. But you see, international students from India to Japan, that's the number here. The last block is only 1,612. Compare that to other countries. Bangladesh has almost 4 times more. Same is Sri Lanka, Nepal, no comparison. China again, so this is another problem. International students from India going to Japan. It's not that Japan do not have very good university. It's also not true that Japan do not have English language courses or English language programs in their universities. If you go to QS ranking university, there will be many Japanese universities who are in top 100 world university, or whether it is Times Higher Education or QS ranking. Likewise, you check, obviously the information is very scant, but what both the countries have not done, like we have never seen Japan as a destination country for education, for people-to-people exchange, for tourism. It's nowadays tourism is blooming, but we have never seen Japan as a country for tourism. So that is also missing. This people-to-people connect is missing. So, like while we are doing well in terms of economic engagement, there are scopes. While we have moved to a better political relationship under Shinzo Abe, and looking forward to have partnership through Quad, through Indo-Pacific, through the Free and Open Indo-Pacific that Shinzo Abe coined in from Japan, and quadrilateral security dialogue with Australia and US being other members. Politically and economically, we have scope, but the challenges remains how to ramp up our trade, how to increase foreign direct investment. And while both India and Japan are partnering to contain China in the South China Sea, like whatever the misadventure of China happening in East China Sea or South China Sea or Indo-Korean Peninsula, or even the India-China border. India and Japan, along with Australia and US, they want to contain China. They want to, you want to put a checks and balances on China, but at the same time, economically, people-to-people exchange-wise, we are lagging behind in a long or drastic manner when we compare Japan-China trade, Japan-China FDI, or Japan-China people-to-people exchange, or Japan-China student exchange. So moving forward, what we propose is that we need to have a relook at SEPA. Like what do we relook? Because as I said, almost 94-95% of products have already been tariff free. So now what we need to relook is that one is non-tariff measures. India's exports comes from mostly MSME sector and the agricultural sector. The compliance cost of non-tariff measures, let's say clean product, let's say good packaging, all this makes exports to India, exports to Japan unfeasible because of the higher cost. Same likewise concerns regarding the non-tariff barriers, like the standard and technical barriers. For example, the sanitary and phytosanitary measures, fees. आमे जेमती माछो खाउछु कि आमे जेमती माछो को प्रिपेयर कर रखछु आमे जेमती माछो को पैकेजिंग करि रखछु the Japanese standards are different, and if we want to maintain that standard ताले हमर प्रोडक्ट हमर प्राइसिंग बहुत अधिक आइ होछि जोडी कि आमे एसोसिएशन ऑफ साउथ ईस्ट एशियन नेशंस एशियन कंट्री साउथ ईस्ट एशियन कंट्री को सहित आमे compete करि पारनो. That is again a major barrier for Indian exports of meat and marine products. Same is true with Indian generic medicines. So obviously we cannot ask Japan to relax its norm. आमे कहि परिबन जे तमे सफा माछो खाउछो सफा माछो खाओ ना आमे जेमति माछो बिकुछु सेमति खाओ. That's not possible. So what we can do is rather than asking for them relaxation, we need to enhance cooperation and sharing of underlying technology, how to maintain that standard that Japan demands. Then we have a less attractive corporate tax regime, obviously, like with the recent GST and the corporate tax revamp that happened under Prime Minister Modi in the last 3-4 years. The compliance ease, all those like we'll see the result of all this in the next decade. But what we need to do here is that we have to again ease our commercial service sector to compete with other East Asian countries who are competing with India for selling our product, or to ramp up our export to Japan. Then standard and accreditation. Japanese test methods are very different. Like we follow ISO standard, they do not follow ISO standard. They have JIS standard, and that has no corresponding international standard. And apart from being several international regional standard and accreditation, Japan also has a MRA, mutual recognition of standard, with many East Asian countries but not with India. So meaning, like, we have to compete with countries like Thailand, like Vietnam, like Singapore, like Philippines, to sell our product to Japan with our own standard, whereas their standard already matching with Japanese standard. So that becomes very critical. So we need to relook at SEPA on all these aspects. Then then there is a need to understand the quality to cost dynamics. One thing that Japan has always been conscious is of quality. One thing India has always been conscious about is the cost. So that's what I call about cost and quality dynamics. Before moving to academics, I was working with Japanese corporate, wanting to invest in India. ମୁଁ ତାଙ୍କ ସହିତ କଥାବାର୍ତ୍ତା କଲି ଯେ ତମେ କଣ କୋଉଠି ବିଜନେସ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛ. ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଟୋକିଓରେ ଥିଲି, ତ କଣ ବିଜନେସ କୋଉଠି କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛନ୍ତି ନା ଆମେ ବିଜନେସ କରିବାକୁ ଚାହୁଁଛୁ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ, ଗୁଜରାଟରେ କିମ୍ବା ମହାରାଷ୍ଟ୍ରରେ. ମୁଁ କହିଲି ଦେଖ ମୁଁ ତ ଗୋଟେ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ, ବଟ୍ if at all I can help you in some manner, then it has to be in Odisha. So बहुत कथार्थ कला पर सेमानकु मु ओडिसा को बुलेयाकु आनिली गोटे पावर प्रोजेक्ट पाइन. तो आसिले बारंबार सतले इट्स वे बैक इन 2011-12. तो बहुत पावर कट होता है, लोड शेडिंग होता है. तो दे वर वेरी हैप्पी. व्हाई हैप्पी ना आमे एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करे आछू, एक देश रे बहुत लोड शेडिंग होची, तो आम पावर पाई पावर परचेज एग्रीमेंट जोटे कि हमर कंज्यूमर माने काहा को बिकिबे ऑफटेक एग्रीमेंट हमको बहुत इजी है, जो कारण एत तो पावर माने पार नाही. बट जतल से माने तांको प्रोडक्शन, कैपिटल अरेंजमेंट, ऑपरेटिंग कॉस्ट सब मिसेले तांको पावर कॉस्ट केम टू अराउंड 7.5 रुपीस पर किलोवाट आवर. सो आमे मु तो तांको नै कि जाइथली ओडिशा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी रेगुलेटरी कमिशन रे. सतले सत्यप्रकाश सर थिले ओईआरसी रो चेयरमैन. सी कहले तमे 7.5 टका रे बिकिबो, आमे तो 3 टका 20 पैसा दबा को हमकु कष्ट होउची, तो किए किनिबो पावर तम पाकरू 7.5 टका रे. तो दे वर अम्यूज्ड. they were amused like mate pacharibe Japanese re kuhନ୍ତି power tari nahi ne tum par power nahi, why don't you want to buy? So seta mu tamu sabale kuhe you like Japanese tankar power cost to almost about 35 JPY 35 Japanese yen mane Indian currency रे 20 टका खंडे पड़िबो मु कहली तमे 35 टका 20 टका रे किणुचो पावर आमर जदि 20 टका मु एखना कहबी पावर यूनिट पिछा अधे लोक कहबे आमे हमर अंधार सोई पड़िबो हमर दरकार नहीं पावर तो you know for Japanese side they want power at any cost but our side we want power at cheap cost so माने एडी मते मन पड़छि जदि आपण माने मन रखियो यू नो गोटे एडवर्टाइजमेंट थिला जोथु की गोटे स्पेसक्राफ्ट तळुक आसुची ता भितर गोटे साइंटिस्ट से स्पेसक्राफ्ट रु बाहरुची तो मीडिया वाला ताको आसी प्रथम क्वेश्चन पचार जनी जे कितनी देती है आ ता तळे लेखुची जे कंट्री ऑब्सेस्ड विथ माइलेज मारुति सुजुकी एक्चुअली मारुति सुजुकी एडवर्टाइजमेंट थिला स्पेसशिप रु साइंटिस्ट को बासुची ताको आउ किछि न पचरी ता पचरी कितना देती है मतलब माइलेज केते दोची तो कई बार से कथा जे कंट्री ऑब्सेस्ड विथ माइलेज और ऑब्सेस्ड विथ cost dynamics so theta ku हमको बुझियो पड़ियो similarly solar panels Japan led with regard to innovation बहुत बढ़िया advanced photovoltaic cell efficiency वाला solar panel ताकू तार प्राइस होउची तार सेटअप से सोलर पैनल हम यूज कले हमको 18 टका 19 टका पर यूनिट सोलर एनर्जी रिपोर्ट ला किंतु हमें ता बदल यदि चाइनीज पैनल किनिले हमको 2 टका 20 पैसा रे एनर्जी सोलर पावर प्रोड्यूस करि परछे तो के काई सार किनिबो जते भलो सांग होइताउ जापान किंतु हमें बरम माने इट्स एनिमी कंट्री बोली भाबी कि भी चाइना पकड़ हमें किनु बिकॉज़ द कॉस्ट डायनामिक्स इज मैचिंग आवर रिक्वायरमेंट तादर भी काम करिया पड़ियो and then finally people to people exchange what I just discussed about you know how to ramp up our student mobility then long term settlement second generation of Indians who are going there to study there are not always looking at the mirror you know micro mirror ki ame kebal west को jiba west रे भलो education मिलियो that's not true Japan in Asia also shows light in that sense मोर बेसिक माने एठी समस्त कहि रखी मोर बेसिक काम नाही ओडिसा रो ओडिसा ऊपर इंडिया जापान रो काम ऊपर किंतु गौरी मते कहिले कि ओडिसा विषय किछ गोटे डिस्कस करिया पे तो मु गोटे स्लाइड ओडिसा रो अपॉर्चुनिटी विषय कथार्ता करिया चाहू छी आमे आगुरी भी कहिले तो मो फर्स्ट टाइम भेटिली से जापानीज इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट मानु को मते कहले लाइक वी वांट टू इन्वेस्ट इन गुजरात वी वांट टू इन्वेस्ट इन महाराष्ट्र माने you know so when we talk of India Japan relationship we often hear about Delhi Mumbai Gujarat Chennai Bangalore but you know what I want to propose something which is bold is that Odisha must make itself or we must make ourselves impossible to ignore and kahi ki me kotha kochi Odisha has everything Japan is looking for we have resources we have manpower we have policy stability we have coastline access and also an improving business ecosystem but somehow when global investors particularly Japanese investors they look at India Odisha is you know like se jo bhalo student पछरे बसिची क्वाइटली बैक बेंच रे बसिची किंतु केबे भी गोटे टीचर भी जानि छि तार टैलेंट अछि कि से केबे भी हाथ टेकुनी and time has come for Odisha to raise its hand I'm खाली भलो स्टूडेंट है कि पछरे बसले हबनी we had problem in the past POSCO the biggest problem it's in from Korea जेतो POSCO फेरिला एटा गोटे इमेज क्रिएट कला ईस्ट एशिया रे जे ईस्ट एशिया रे anywhere I just recently I attended Taiwan National Day and someone introduced me someone and we talked about investment in Odisha no Odisha is very difficult because they know about POSCO and how POSCO you know we do from Odisha because of some political some social some you know some problem but that image has to change am pakre emiti enai je Japanese investment nai Nissin food processing industry ageichi Nippon Steel एबे इन्वेस्ट करिया को जाउची ऑलरेडी पारादीप रे इन्वेस्ट करानी आउरी सडा को रैंप अप करिया जाउची होउची किंतु गोटे इमेज चेंज करला बलिया जेमति what I meant to say is what Maruti Suzuki has been to Manesa something like that kind of a image building needs to be done to change that mentality of East Asian investor from that POSCO image एटा खाली जापान पे हेल्प करिवनी एटा बरम पूरा ईस्ट एशिया को हेल्प करिवो so what I you know what my personal experiences, when we talk of Nimrana, Rajasthan, or we talk of Gujarat, we talk Manesar in Haryana or Hosur in Tamil Nadu, what these things have and in store for the big Japanese industrial township they have built, what they have to offer, what Odisha has not offered. See, change missing. What is missing is a proper business ecosystem. This is I'm saying out of my own experience. से जो डेलीगेशन विजिट मु कहउथि सन प्रथम जल इनिशियली जापान रु आमे आसीबु गोटे पूरा डेलीगेशन आमे बहुत स्टेट गुडा को गलु बुलिया पे सो आमे ओडिसा को नेकी आसिलु मोर मु गोटे दि जण आईएएस ऑफिसर क्लोज तांको सहित भेटी कि नेकी गलु इपिकल को इंडस्ट्रियल प्रमोशन एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन ऑफ ओडिसा लिमिटेड इपिकल रो एमडी हमको नेकी बुलेले गोटे 500 एकड़ रो पैच खोरदार पाखापाखि कोड देखेले पूरा बंजर जमी आउ किछि नाही खाली पड़िया पड़ी जे पड़िया अछि हम एटा क्लियर मार्क कर रखिछु 500 एकड़ जमी आपण जापानीज डेवलपमेंट असिस्टेंस लगांतु आकु ठीक करंतु एटा गोटे जापानीज इंडस्ट्रियल टाउन करिवा कहले एटा हम तुमको ऑफर करूछु इट वाज लैकिंग इवन बेसिक इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर गाड़ी पूरा हिडर जाई कि सेठी पहुंचला तो इंडस्ट्रियलिस्ट मानकर फास्ट क्वेश्चन सेठी रे एटी तो रास्ता नहीं हम रास्ता आमे जानि जो आमे ऑलरेडी आमे पूरा वर्ल्ड को शो कर सकते आमे स्लो इन डिलीवरिंग थिंग्स नाउ रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं इलेक्ट्रिसिटी नहीं वाटर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं सेम वाइज लाइकवाइज आमे तो गोलु राजस्थान को आमे तो गोलु गुजरात को आमे तो गोलु महाराष्ट्र को तमिलनाडु होसुर को हम पर्टिकुलरली दीटा जाय कुछ होसुर और निमराना इन राजस्थान आमे तो जाउ छु हमको सेम तांकर भी जो इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रमोशन हमर जो माने काउंटर पार्ट हमको सेम तने कि गोटे 200 250 300 एकड़ जमीर पैस देखले जेटा हमें नुवा इंडस्ट्रियल टाउनशिप बनौ छु जमी केमती स्ट्रीट लाइट लागि छि पूरा रोड ही जाई छि पानी कनेक्शन दिया है माने जो गोटे इकोनॉमिक टर्म रे कोन दिस माने डेवलप्ड इंडस्ट्रियल लैंड कंप्लीट विथ रोड्स पावर वाटर आ जोटा पर्टिकुलर वर्ड को प्लग एंड प्ले फैसिलिटी आना प्लग करो चलाओ माने कंप्यूटर जेंती पूरा रेडी आनलो लगेलो प्लग चलाओ तो व्हाई वुड समवन सी कि गोटे पूरा पानी हेची गोटे खाल हेची सेठी पूरा जमी रे किछि नाही हिड भितरे जेठी प्रथमे पानी कनेक्शन आसे पड़िबो एठी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कनेक्शन आसे पड़िबो एठी रोड इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नवा पड़िबो ता पर जे हम एठी सेटअप करि परिबा किंतु से माने ऑलरेडी सेटा को बेसिक फैसिलिटी रेडी करी के से माने इन्वेस्टर को डाकुचंती सो ऑब्वियसली इन्वेस्टर विल नॉट लुक एट समथिंग वेयर कि आमको एटा निज को डेवलप करी के करिया को पड़िबो वेयर इज ऑलरेडी अदर स्टेट गुडा के हमको फैसिलिटी एटा दउजनी तमे आस बोली तो सेति वी हैव लैग बिहाइंड with many investment of that kind कि आमे सडा को मिस करूछु किंतु जदि देखिया पड़िबो जोटा मु कॉम्प्लीमेंटरिटीज इंडिया और जापान विषय रे कहितली पूर्वरु जदि if ask any Japanese company their biggest challenge today they will say labor shortage and ask any Odia graduate their biggest dream today they say good opportunity is there but not in Odisha जहा कोई पचारा हमें बढ़िया अपॉर्चुनिटी बाहर को जाऊ छु किंतु नॉट इन ओडिसा सो माने मो पई एटा मैच मेड इन हेवन सो this is what we discussed about India Japan complementarities. This is what I am saying that it is about complementarities between Odisha and India. So Japan respects quality and we have our quality. We just need branding. With Japan's law for clean food packaging. आमे ओडिसा रे फूड प्रोसेसिंग यूनिट लगे परिबा एंड हु नोज तांकर जोटा फेमस बेंतो बॉक्स इट कैन हैव डालमा एज ए करी if states like Haryana could transform themselves in 1980s because of Maruti Suzuki I'm sure and Odisha can also undergo a similar transformation if we partner with a Japanese automotive or Japanese manufacturing company by 2036. So the potential is immense. What we need is readiness, vision, and infrastructure to match investor expectations. Similarly, tourism, the spiritual exchange. Japan loves culture, tradition, and spirituality. The Gotiye country which has almost got Western level of development without actually, kind of deteriorating its culture, without having any compromise with its culture. जोटे कि हमें इंडिया भी धीरे धीरे देखुचे हमें डेवलप करछे एट द सेम टाइम हमर कल्चरल आइडेंटिटी धीरे धीरे लूज कर दोछे बट जापान इज वन अमंग द वेरी वेरी फ्यू कंट्री व्हिच हैज डेवलप्ड साइड बाय साइड try to maintain its whole culture. We have a lot to learn from that country. So our Odisha got a living museum, Konark, Puri, Udaygiri, Dhori, gold mines of Buddhist heritage. In fact, Japanese tourists जो माने आसुचंदी बोध गया पर्यंत almost halfway to Odisha. हमको गोटे बुद्धिस्ट पिलग्रिमेज सर्किट और इकोटूरिज्म ओडिशा बने कि से पिलग्रिमेज बुद्धिस्ट पिलग्रिमेज साटे यदि सर्किट बने परिबा Japanese will not only come with cameras but will also come with investment too. So so to conclude, I'll say India and Japan, we always talk about India and Japan as natural partners. Then what I say, Odisha can become a natural breeze. And we have culture, like 3C arguments. We have culture, courage, and coastline. What else you need in life? So here I believe Shinzo Abe's what Shinzo Abe believed, that a strong India is in the best interest of Japan. And let me add, a rising Odisha is in the best interest of India-Japan relationship. And the journey is long, but as Japan says, ichigo ichie, meaning every moment is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Let Odisha or we Odia seize this opportunity to make a mark in greater India-Japan relationship. And I think that will be really beneficial, and it will be a win-win situation for all, Odisha, India, and Japan. Dhanyavad. Thank you. Jai Jagannath.
Thank you so much, Dr. Devendra Sahu sir. Really, it's very, very insightful and very crucial things which must be discussed in this like a platform. And because here so many intellectual people are there, and also diversified a group of people are here, students, retired persons, and not only from homogeneous group, but diversified people are attending these seminars. These people must definitely get very, very much enlightened also about your very beautiful lecture. So thank you so much, sir. Now it's time for question answer. So I would like to request the audience who have any questions for Dr. Devendra Sahu sir. You may raise hand. You may also direct ask to him. Please, sir. I think Dr. Simanchal sir is trying to ask anything. Am I audible, sir?
No, not exactly. This is a very insightful and very informative session. So I definitely thank Dr. Devendra for his insightful and very informative session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, Simanchal sir. If anybody else interested to ask, you may directly also ask to sir. Okay, thank you. I think there is no question from the audience side, but really we are very much happy that we have got various types of relationship with Japan, and that has been discussed by Dr. Sir. And also you have shared about how India, Japan is have a future-oriented partnership, and also India, Japan has mutual trust, shared democratic values, and vision for the region stability and also prosperity. So I think this new cooperation, not exactly new, this cooperation now extends from economic development to security, technology, and global governance also. And I have discussed about different type of factors like economic, social, cultural, and also technological, particularly how Japan is helping in the infrastructure, particularly Delhi, Mumbai train, and also the speed train Mumbai Ahmedabad. And also you have taken, you have given various types of example related to how rural electrification in Andhra Pradesh, and how Japan is assisting in Odisha also. So really, we are very much thankful to you, sir. You have given your time, you have enlightened us, and we have got various types of knowledge about the India and Japan. Thank you so much, sir. And now I would like to request, I think Gauri sir is not there. Now I'd like to request anybody who wants to, nobody is there. Okay. Okay, now it's a time to give a vote of thanks. Uh, I myself propose formal vote of thanks on behalf of Swami Vivekananda Loka Sansad. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Devendra Sahu sir for giving us time and enlighten about India-Japan relationship. Thank you so much. I hope we'll also connect in future, and we'll also again meet in this platform, and you will enlighten us in future also. Thank you so much, sir. And now it's time to end of this session. So now I'm reciting the sloka. Sarva bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pasantu, ma kasvi dukha bhave. Santi, Santi, Santi.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thank you
inviting.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.